Hello and welcome to the first GisBridge tutorial in which we'll show you how you can import your GIS data directly into SketchUp using the new GisBridge extension. So the files that you can import are either shapefiles or GeoJSON, and as you can see here they can be of different types. The points, for example, can be imported as trees. Polygons are imported as buildings and lines as subway lines. So let's get started. When you first install the GisBridge extension, you can find it under Extensions, GisBridge, or you can go to View, Toolbars, and open up a toolbar. Upon clicking on the toolbar, the GisBridge window will open, which will allow you to specify the file that you want to load. Before going deeper, let us just quickly review the preferences. So you can lock or not lock the objects that you are importing. Then there is a functionality that helps you with the mapping of attributes or properties of the GIS file to geometry parameters of the SketchUp. We'll go into more details a bit later. And then you can also turn on or off the option to autosave mapping file. Basically, what this means is that whenever you specify the mapping of GIS properties or attributes to SketchUp geometry, this is stored next to your GIS file so that it can be reused later. So with this, let's go here and open up a new file. So right now, if we go to Tools to Window, Model Info, we can see that our model is not geolocated yet, and we don't even need to go to File and here Add Location and locate it, because this can also be done automatically by GisBridge itself. So let's start with importing some subway lines, the shapefile. So when I click on this one, you will see that I already get a preview, right? Because this is just an overlay. It's not yet the geometry that is baked to SketchUp. This allows us to specify the mapping before doing any import. So for example, if I go here, the object color, if I unselect it here, you can see they all become white. If I have a color property or attribute, I can map it, and GisBridge will apply this material to the subway lines. Now, this one opened already as a fully rendered preview because I had this option turned on. But if I go here and let's turn this off, and I'll go here to File, New, and Start again, right? So now I have set it not to map anything that I already have next to my GIS file. And now opening up the subway, you will see nothing will happen except I get only the lines. I have not specified any parameters, and I'll go here and say, okay, I know that this is the subway line, so I'll go and say, let's import the where is it, tube width. It's in meters right now. So now that I have mapped the tube width, I can see that the profiles are added. And then I will also map the object color, for example. They get colored. I can also map the UIDs and other things like that. So let's go with object ID and so on. So once I'm happy with the preview, and the preview, you can go here. If you don't see the overlays here, you can go to Window, Default Tray, and Overlays. You can see basically the GisBridge, this is what is showing the data, right? If I turn it off, it will not be shown. If I turn it on, I can see it again. But again, I cannot select this because it's just drawn over my actual view. So in order to actually generate the geometry from what I'm seeing here, I just need to click on Bake to SketchUp. And now this became a SketchUp geometry, which I can select and further modify. You can see the objects, for example, were not locked. So I'm for the next one, I'll turn this one on so you can see how it works. So here with this import, you can see a few things. So one is that the those objects are placed to the GisBridge folder, and the name is actually the name of the file that we are importing. If needed, we can also map to specific layers and so on. So feel free to explore different options how you can import those objects. Let's now import the point objects. In our case, we have the file of 3 species in Manhattan downtown. And now, again, the mapping is not done yet. We just see the points of locations of the trees in the Manhattan downtown. You can see in the components there is nothing there yet because we have not yet told GisBridge to import it as components. So what we'll do is we'll switch it here to import as components. If this was representing terrain, we could also import the terrain, but in our case it's components. So now when I click this one, you can see the components that come by default with GisBridge will be loaded in our model, and then we can later pick them, which is telling GisBridge how to map each point to which component, right? If needed, you can also add your own components. Here in the SketchUp GisBridge components, there is a map that holds all the components. If you add some components to this one, you will see them loaded when you import the components file. In some later tutorial, we'll go deeper into how to manage the components that you want to import. But for now, let's leave it here. I have just mapped the components, and now what I'll do is I will first go here and specify that the property or attribute that we want to map as a component. So in our case, I'll go to species, and you can see this is a simplified version. The original has a lot more than species, but here I'm mapping the Acer to maple, platanus here to plain, and oak is here. So you can see how the preview is changing. This is because the objects that we have here, they just show us the preview of what is going to be imported, not fully. It's a bit optimized, but at least to give you some feeling of how the import will look. And one more thing that I have here is the object height. So if I go here and map the height, you will see the heights have been also adjusted. And now that's it. So what I can do now is just go to Bake SketchUp, and you can see the trees that I have mapped, they become part of our model. Now to wrap it up, let's import also some Polygon objects. So the file that we have available is New York City buildings, which is basically the Polygon file containing some information about the heights of the buildings and so on. But when we start importing, you can see those objects will be just imported as edges, right? So we need to first go here and map this to faces so that we actually fill up the empty space in those shapes. And then what we'll do is we'll also map the object height here. You can see instantly the overlay is updated, showing us the heights of the buildings. And let's also map the name of the attributes where they exist. So the name will be assigned to the specific objects if it is defined. So we are now happy with the preview, and I'll go here to Bake to SketchUp. And voila, we have our model. We can select those buildings and so on. Here in the outliner, you can actually see that some buildings have the names, so we can select them and so on. Now, just to double check the geolocation of our model, let us go here. We have not specified the location using that location before because it was done automatically by GisBridge, but just to verify, you can see we are now in the Manhattan downtown. Let's go here to add some context. Let's see the options here. We can go with the low resolution, maybe even smaller part. It's just for the verification purposes. Import site context. So close, done, and here you can see it all aligns very well with what we've been importing. I hope you have enjoyed this quick tutorial and introduction to GisBridge, and I invite you to give it a try. And please do send us some feedback. What else is it that you are missing, as we are actively developing it and we really want to improve it for use cases that you have in practice. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.